Hello all, I'm Shifty, and today we're going to be taking a look at some small grid apartments. These were all submitted for a build event in early 2024, so they won't have any of these blocks, but they do have some pretty nice alternatives. They were also supposed to be survival ready and easy to deploy, but if you watch the first part of this walkthrough, you already know that most of them crashed spectacularly when we tried to drop them in. So we're going to find out today if these are any better, starting with the portable research base designed by MostlyAwol. This is the smallest one we're going to look at today, and I figure it has the best chance of landing correct. Yep. Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this one. The outside is fairly straightforward. We got a little ladder on this side. I'm seeing a lot of hinges, so I'm guessing there are windows or something underneath there. Up top here we have a fold-out solar panel. We'll try that when we go inside, and we've got a little connection point. Of course, if you don't have jetpack, you can walk up here, so that is nice. Coming in the front door here, what does this button say? Airlock trigger now. Well, I don't think we need that until we walk in. There's another airlock button. Closes the door, turns the door off, opens the one on the inside. Let's turn the lights on. Let's just turn all the lights on, open the windows. Yep, I was right. This button over here, that's your landing plates. Landing gear, so we'll lock that. I heard it clunk underneath us, which is kind of nice. Little audio indication. We got a desk over here. This just moves the chair. And inside here, it looks like a sink. And what's really cool about this one is this is not a projection. This is, in fact, just a hollow LCD. So if you turn the LCD off, the water turns off in your little sink. I think that's a really cool idea. You could also use a texture on that. Make it look like water or something instead of just being pure blue, but that does work as well. Got a little PC. The PC is set up at an angle using a rotor. Very nice. And we have a little bit of cargo. I like these end tables. Little cargo things inside there. Shelving unit over here. Some plushies. Got all the important stuff. Whole bunch of buttons to run things. This opens the solar panels. So we'll take a look at that from third person here. Very nice. I sped that up a little bit for you, but it does work very well. Let's see, what else? We got the storage up in the ceiling, it looks like. This is a medium cargo container attached right to the connector up top. And over here we have reactor access, so you can refuel your reactor. I did notice on this one, though, that you cannot access from anywhere the O2H2 generator. It's right up there, and there's just no way to get inside it to refill your bottles. And there's also no way to get into the oxygen tanks over here with your inventory. So a little bit unfortunate you can't refill your bottles, and it does not have a survival kit. So hopefully when you spawn in, you just don't die because you're permadead. Let's look up at the top one last time before we head out here. We've got a couple batteries, so it actually does have a lot of power production. I wish it had a survival kit. Then I'd be pretty happy with it, but unfortunately it does not. Now let's move on to our next one. Next up we have this monstrosity, which is the Buffalo Hauler by Zabumafu. It also has two types of modules on it, an apartment module and a townhouse module, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, as I'm coming to expect from all of these submissions, none of the cockpit hotbars are set up, and none of the parachute hatches have anything in them. So that kind of leaves me with no choice but to assume this is the way you intended this to be used. Anyway, now that we have these two on the ground, we're going to take a look around each of them. We're going to start with the apartment pod. ACI apartment pod here. Let's take a quick look at the outside. We have a whole bunch of solar panels up top. We do have parachutes and an ore detector, which is interesting because you can't really move this around. But I guess you can see that there's ice directly below you, the merge points, and a connector up here. Very nice. There is not a ladder to get up top, but I guess you can fly up there if your jetpack works. Unfortunately, though, I already know that once you run out of hydrogen, you're not going to be able to refill it with this setup. But we'll take a tour first before we get into the functional details. We'll see if we can even jump in this door. This obviously was not tested. All you had to do is put a little ramp there, and now I can walk in. So we've got a bed in here, a desk. It doesn't look like we have any cargo access from inside these. It's just purely chairs. Chairs are the only interactable thing, and then of course our little panels here. We do have air that will fill this place up, correct? Nice. So it is pressurized. You can live in these little rooms. These could be updated with the new bunks, and that would be really nice. I like the idea of that, at least. But we can go upstairs here, and we're going to do this the fast way, so we're just going to jump on the upper ladder and back off. That brings us upstairs. And these are all the same, you can see. So there is not a survival kit on this. Again, we have a new theme building for this set of walkthroughs. It is parachutes are working, and there are no survival kits. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I would not say it's survival ready. You also cannot access the inventory anywhere where you can put bottles in your O2H2 generators. Take a look at this one that I tore apart over here. We do have O2H2 generators, but there is no way to access those, which is a little bit unfortunate. So you can't recharge your bottles to get up top and do whatever you're going to do up here to do maintenance or attach ships or things like that. Let's take a look at our other apartment. This is the townhouse, so this is a single person that's going to live in this one. And once again, I'm just not going to bother trying to jump in because it's very difficult. If it was just one block higher, it actually wouldn't be hard, but because it's the bottom block height, it's really hard to do, so I'm not going to give you a headache trying to do that. This is actually a nice table. I like this table. Can't complain about that. We've got a TV over here, and then we've got these nooks up here. This is where the bed is, so you can put some bunks up there nowadays. Big old bed, and on the other side, I believe this is a bathroom. Yep, we've got a toilet over here, a sink over there. Come back down just by clicking the ladders. Clicking the ladders like that is actually pretty convenient. I will say that I like this ladder setup. If I'm going to take anything away from this, it's that ladder setup. It does look nice. You can't actually climb up through this using the ladder, but you don't have to because you can just click and then click again, which works regardless of whether or not you have a jetpack, so pretty cool. This is a little kitchen over here, and the fridge, I kind of like the fridge too. It's simple, but I can tell exactly what it is. So win on the fridge, win on the ladders, and it needs survival kits, and I would really, really, really like to access the inventory for my bottles. One more thing, I'm nitpicking on this one, but someone in the comments probably already noticed this. This little triangle is missing, and it's mirrored. It's mirrored all the way around. It's gonna hurt. It's hurting me, I'm sure it's hurting somebody else. Next up, we have a ship, which I know will work because I'm the one that built it. As you can see, it can, in fact, fly. And we'll take a quick look around the outside while it's sitting here and flying. We've got a large garage over on this side, and then we have 2 floors of interior space on this side. There's a ladder so you can climb up top. Let's just go ahead and use that real quick. We can pretend we're on the ground. It's not going to make a difference. Once you're up top here, you can walk around. These little steps let you get all the way to the top, so you can do maintenance on your antenna. Underneath here is a decoy block, so that is going to be your lightning rod right there if you need to fix it. That's where we got to go. And then we have a turret up here to protect us. The majority of the functional blocks for this vehicle live on the right side here. Got a connector going into a junction with our O2H2. This is the one that you can access through most of the cargo. There's also one in the airlock for your convenience. We got the oxygen tank, hydrogen tank with our explosive sign, and a large cargo container. This goes directly through this block, which can suck things in if you want to just drop stuff off from above. It's kind of nice if you have a rover or a ship that you want to drop ore off with. Down below that, we have our ejector for your spewing any sort of junk you want to filter to spew. And then inside our garage, we have another connector and a small ship, which you'll see in a minute. Stepping into the front of the vehicle, let's turn our jetpack off. This is that O2H2, which I always like to have in my airlocks. And the airlock is somewhat automated. The doors basically just close behind you. We have a couple buttons for turning on and off the air vent, which just goes straight through to this room. That is how you're going to put air in and out of the airlock. See, it's sucking air out right now, and that just spews it right back into this room, so it's kind of a nice little cycle. Doesn't have to go into any sort of inventory or anything. When you first walk into the door, you can see your hydrogen levels. You can see we've been hovering here for a while, so our hydrogen's getting depleted. It's good to know. Another air vent, and you can also see your primary battery power right here. Survival kit is close to the door, which I think is important. And right here is where you will access all of your cargo. So you can pull this in and out, do what you have to do. From inside, this turns on and off the survival kit, which will turn itself back on automatically in a couple minutes. We've got a toggle for a bunch of different things in here. This is a repair projector. And over here is the hydrogen engine. Underneath the stairs, you can see a bunch of utility blocks just to make sure they're still working, or if you need to fix them up, that's where you can do it. On the other side of the first floor, we have our dining area, a little living space. Over here we got some benches, some seats, countertop, and this is our oven area. You can see the oven's really kicked on because we're using power while we fly here. It's kind of funny. Over here is the bathroom. Pretty simple. I don't have any fancy water or anything, but we do have a mirror and a toilet. We'll go into the garage when we get on the ground, but first we got to go up these steps because this is where the control seat is. And you can see we can just fly around. We can take this right up to space if we want to, or we could fly down and do a landing manually. We can also just turn off our inertial dampeners, and then we will parachute down. This should work just fine, assuming we don't fall through the surface. Yeah, see, Keen doesn't really like large grids. So this grid has a couple thousand blocks. And yeah, you can see in the back here, we are just clipping through the surface. And there's nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. So it's a good thing we can fly, because we're going to have to fly in order to level ourselves out. Alrighty, we can continue our tour now of the inside. Right on the right here, we have a couple buttons. This will unlock your mag plates, and pressing this button will send you to space with a single press of a button. It's all automated using AI blocks and event controllers, and it also saves you a ton of hydrogen because it uses event controllers to pulse your thrusters and not overuse your hydrogen. So you can press that button to do that. If you press this button, it aborts the liftoff sequence, so it'll just stop you, and then you'll just hover wherever you press it. In case you accidentally press the button, that's kind of nice. In here we have some more living space. This is for the TV. Turn that on and off. And we have bedrooms. All the bedrooms are slightly different, a little bit different decorations. Everything's piped up, which is kind of nice. We have lights in all of them, and we have desks and whatnot. There's also a way to recharge your hydrogen bottle if you want to do that in your bedroom. And every room has its own air supply. So that's what that little vent there is doing. All hooked up to the primary system for the whole ship. This goes up to the turret. That's where those pipes are going. And this end bedroom's a little bit bigger, which is kind of nice. Back downstairs here, we can check out our garage. This door will be locked anytime the garage door is open. So anytime that room isn't pressurized, it won't let you open this door and lose all the pressure to your primary living space. Always a nice feature to have. Right when you walk in the door, if the ship is currently in the hangar, it takes up most of the hangar. This is an atmospheric and hydrogen ship that can fly without hydrogen or without atmospheric thrusters. So you can use this for scouting on a planet, or you can just take it right up to space. Right here is our garage door. And anytime you press the garage door airlock mechanism, it will start by giving you 10 seconds while the light is on, warning you that it's depressurizing this. And then when it's done depressurizing, it'll go ahead, unlock this, and lower your ramp. And now you can take your ship out if you want. Just unlock this, and it flies right out. Very comfortable. I can show you. Flies with atmospheric just fine, and it flies with just hydrogen. We're not going to worry too much about that, though, because that is not what our focus for today is. It's all about the apartment. So now you can see the entire garage. Quite a bit of moving space inside here. Got the air vents there. Let's go ahead and close the door. When the door is closed, the lights will switch back. There we go. And we start pressurizing again. Of course, we're on Earth, so we're already nearly pressurized. This right up here is kind of sneaky. It's just another place to put a hydrogen bottle in case your ice is run out and you can't recharge your hydrogen anymore from the O2H2 generators. This right up here is a nice place to recharge your bottles. On to the next one, which is the Tygeria Spacer Pod, designed by Snowtiger. This is how it was submitted. So this is how we're going to look at it, crooked and nighttime. Coming in the front door here, This is the only one that used mods, so they did submit it as a world file. So that's how we're going to look at it. And yeah, we have an airlock right in the middle here. We do have an air vent on this. That's good. It is manual airlock, but it does function as an airlock. Over on this side, it looks like we have all our utility and storage. Lots of batteries, an oxygen tank, hydrogen tanks, all the good stuff. And you can actually access the O2H2 from here. So I can put bottles into that. Glorious. Win for sure on that. And we have our survival kit over here, which we can access through this side. Very nice. We can put our hydrogen tanks in there. We can't put an oxygen bottle in the oxygen tank, but I'll let that one slide because we can at least use the O2H2. Heading across into the living space, we can see that this is where the majority of the modded blocks are. Using mods was allowed for this competition, but this is the only one that did it, so fair game. I like all these blocks. Got some storage and whatnot. We got a bed over here and a desk. Let's take a look around the outside real quick. Mostly it's just solar panels on the very top. We got a connection point on the back over here. That's good, and that goes into all your storage and whatnot. Can already tell how that's lined up. Everything looks good outside. We have mag plates. It is worth noting that this one does not have thrusters or parachute hatches, so there's no way it's going to be self-deployable onto a planet or a moon or anything like that, but you can at least carry it with a ship, I guess, and deploy it. So that's how you're going to have to do it for this one. The last two we're going to take a look at were both built by LimeyInPA. Now, you weren't supposed to submit to, but the whole point of this is to just share ideas and get inspiration. So we're going to look at both of them anyway, starting with the Pridehome over here. Do a quick fly around the outside. This one has thrusters, enough to fly for sure. So it definitely passes the deploy anywhere. And right up front here, we've got a little button outside for the ramp. Very nice. Hop on in here. Oh, it's got an airlock. The alarm goes off when the outer door is open. And it also doubles as a porch. Sit down in the chair, have a nice view. Pretty cool. Let's go inside. The first floor here is utility. So we have, of course, both of the O2H2s facing each other, so you can't put bottles in and out of there, but that's okay for this one because you can put bottles in the hydrogen tank and in the oxygen tank. Very nice. We've got that over there in case you want to sleep. And here's the control seat. There's also a lot of text on these two builds, so we'll just glance at all of it. We're not going to read it all. Control seat. Everything's set up on the hotbars, which is very nice. And we can go up this ladder here. Looks like we got some decoration. I always approve of decorations. And this is a button for the folding solar panels. There's a few of them. Folds them up and down. Very good. Lots of little cabinet space. Wires everywhere. Got a bed over here. We got an otter. Yo, what's up? Bed, double bed. More of this. This is Best Surveyor 2052. Okay. Little carpet over here. Oh dear. Yeah, we'll press that button in a minute. That sounds a little bit sketchy, so we'll wait. Poop deck. I guess this is the aft of the ship. And I think this folds up. Yeah. That folds up the deck that's outside here. So you can open the door. Put the deck down. It's a bit of a falling hazard, I'm not gonna lie, but it is nice to have it. And I like the way this these end table things are. Once again, creative idea, and I do approve. All right, breathe easy, we got this. I like that. More cargo storage up here too, and more decorations. This is the person's icon, I'm pretty sure. Some more stuff. All right, let's push the button. Oh, home theater. It plays the automaton SE music.
I am automaton. I work hard
Yep.
my turns me on.
All right. Well, I don't see a staircase that goes up from here. So it looks like that's pretty much everything for this one. They do have gyros, so it can definitely fly. Oh, and there's extra storage access down here. This one actually has stuff in it too. It came prepared. Oh, nice. The music actually turns itself off after a little bit. I was worried I was going to have to go and turn that off on my own. Ooh, beep, beep. Let's look at the top up here. Make sure we're not missing anything. Hey, they have fireworks. I didn't see a button for fireworks in there. Ah, they do. They do launch. They have stuff in them. That's cool. Alright, let's check out the other one. This is the Survey Hab. Also by the same person. Take a look at the bottom real quick. We got a camera for landing, probably. This button operates the ramp. Let's put it back down. They like that beeping sound. Up we go. Another full airlock. I approve. Some buttons. This is the ramp. Some exterior and interior lights. And we have the survival kit right here. Very nice. So you can respawn and go right out the door. That's the way I like it. I like this table again too. I have to use these for holding up tables in the future. I like the way they look. Lots of programmable blocks and whatnot. We have Mary Had a Little Lamb on that LCD. And in here, this is instructions on how to do the liftoff and landing. So we'll leave that. Some cool pictures. Once again, just a desk area over there. Some flavor text on here. We have 2 cryo sleeps in this one. One right there, one right here. And we have the control seat over here with a fire alarm. We'll press that real quick. Kind of a neat effect. Turn that off. All right, back here, there's more utility and a little spider. Who keeps leaving these damn spiders everywhere? Found one clogging an air vent yesterday. Lots of little flavor text, I like it. And we have the O2H2 attached to the oxygen tank in such a way that you cannot get bottles in and out. It's a theme. It's a recurring theme with everything nowadays. This is our storage access. Lets you fit a few things in and out there. And you can't actually even access the hydrogen tank. So as far as I know, there's no way to recharge bottles on this one. Yeah, unless you have a mod that lets you do it from one of these things, you're just not going to be able to do it. Maybe this person always plays with one of those mods, so they just assume that's a default functionality. This door back here goes outside, and when you have these retracted, you can actually jump in and out of this door. So this is the door you'll use probably when you're on the ground, when the little landing gears are retracted. Life support, break anything in here, and we all die. All right, let's go upstairs. This is another airlock. This goes up onto the roof. There we go. Close the door. We got a landing pad up here. Solar panels. This is right above the table and whatnot. And a whole bunch of decorative storage, which I like. We got sensors doing something up here too. It's making me a little uncomfortable. I hear it when I walk up to it, but I don't actually see what it does. Also, there's meg plates up top here. Huh. Makes me want to try and land this thing upside down. I think that's pretty much it for this one, though. Let's look around the outside real quick. We have an attachment point on the outside there. Bunch of little panels. Looks like it's just that one, which makes sense because that's by all of the cargo storage and whatnot. Do we have an attachment point on this one? Up top, I guess. I guess that counts for something. We have a couple large cargoes in there too. And this one does have parachute hatches, and even though they are not piped in, look at this. there are actual canvases in their parachute hatches. So props for that. You did better than 90% of the other submissions. So I'm just going to guess that that one also can deploy properly. We're going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you have parachutes in your hatches. And that is going to be it for this walkthrough video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks everyone who submitted builds for this competition. And of course, a huge shout out to our Patreon members. We'll see you all in the next one.